Hello and welcome to the Resume Workshop. My name is Jennifer Turner and I am a teacher at Islands High School. I've been teaching 8 years and I am also a career technology teacher. A resume is a document that tells prospective employers exactly what you want them to know about you and why you would be a good fit for their open position. It should advertise your skills in an easy to read, logical, and concise format. Hiring managers use resumes to screen potential employees. They typically look at a resume for less than 15 seconds before deciding which pile to put it in. The no pile ends up in the recycle bin. The yes pile gets a second look and possibly an interview. Each resume has its own layout, format, look, and feel. However, every resume should contain the same basic types of information. Contact information, so the hiring manager can easily get in touch with you if needed. The objective and summary. The summary is a professional summary, sometimes called a profile. And the objective lets the employer know exactly what kind of job you would like to have. It gives the hiring manager a glimpse of your skills and accomplishments. Education. Your education information include certifications, degrees you have earned, institutions which you have earned them from, and dates where they were awarded. Your employment history. This should provide specific details about accomplishments and successes you've had in previous jobs. It always includes the names and locations of the employer and should include a job title that is generally understandable. And also additional information such as skills and awards that highlight a technical or specialized skill you have and that are applicable to the position. For your contact information, you should always put in your full name. Middle initial is optional. Don't use a nickname, especially one that can lead someone to form an opinion about you, like Ace or Diz or something like that. You are also expected to include a home address on your resume. Consider using your complete state if your state abbreviation is easily confused, like Missouri, Mississippi, Montana, any of those that can be easily confused. Just spell out your entire state. Your email. In this digital age, an email address is a must on your resume. It is now the preferred way for a hiring manager to get in touch with you. But make sure it is an appropriate email address. Use a conventional email address like your first name dot last name. Make sure that there are no inappropriate connotations in your email address, such as partygirl123 at yahoo.com. And your phone number. Your home or mobile cell phone numbers are acceptable. However, when thinking about which number to include, consider these things. It is acceptable to include more than one number. Make sure you have a reliable as well as an appropriate and polite message system or message taker if you cannot answer the phone yourself. You will want to check your messages regularly and make sure that the number you include will be accessible to you. Writing an objective and summary. In the past, most job seekers included a career objective on their resumes to tell the hiring manager what types of positions they were looking for. A more recent trend is to include a summary statement or a professional profile in the place of the objective. However, some job seekers include both an objective and a summary, and we are going to do both. The objective should be a statement that includes job title, industry, and area. We're going to use the example of since you guys are doing entry-level resumes, we are going to do an example of a person who has experience in the restaurant industry, such as maybe a hostess or a busboy, and they would like to go on to be a cook. So a career objective here would be to obtain a position as a cook in so and so restaurant in so and so city. So to obtain a position as a cook at the Crab Shack in Savannah, Georgia. It's very specific. A summary should list some qualifications, career highlights, areas of expertise here. Maybe you're CPR certified. Maybe you have some sort of certification from your last job that you would like to put here. Maybe you're fluent in another language, and that can be helpful as well. So, a summary about your things can go here. I usually always tell my students that this is the stuff that makes you cool. So, make sure that your summary is one of the first things that are on your resume, so make sure that it's good. Maybe you're proficient in some sort of technology, but you can put that on there if it goes along well with your job. The education section tells the employer if you meet the educational requirements for a particular position. All resumes should include an education section, regardless of the level of education that you have achieved. In this example, I have a school listed, the city and state, and time attended. List all the amazing things that you have accomplished in school. Dig deep if you need to. Were you a peer tutor, a member of FBLA, volunteer for a blood drive? You do have accomplishments, and those need to be entered here. Do not list middle or elementary schools here. The reason that the hiring manager looks at your resume is to see if your skills and experience are a match for his open position. Where do they look on your resume? They look at your employment history to see if the skills and accomplishments you list show that you will be an ideal worker. It is crucial that you use action verbs and list experiences, not just job duties. For example, if you would like to become a cook and have worked in a restaurant as a dishwasher or hostess, we know that you have bussed tables and rolled silverware. We want to know what you have learned or gained from your experience. In this scenario, you should write something like develop team leadership skills or develop time management skills. Only write the truth though. During the interview, these will be the talking points and you want to be honest and detailed. Sometimes you may want to include additional information about yourself that comes from outside of your education and work history. For example, you may want to include that you're fluent in another language, or a special community project that you coordinated or managed, or maybe even your technology skills outside of what you included in your employment history. And there's an example listed here, something that could be included, proficient in Microsoft Office Word 2010. But remember, only tell the truth of what you're actually accomplishing. Resume do's. Use white space and bullet points to help emphasize what you want the hiring manager to know about you. If the hiring manager is scanning to see if you meet the requirements but can't easily spot the information, you may get overlooked. Make it easy to read. Some ways to make sure your resume is easy to read include using verb tense consistently. For your present job, you can use the present tense, such as design and oversee. For previous employment, use past tense, designed and oversaw. Varying your word choice. Even though you are trying to include key words, don't overdo it. If the key phrase you are trying to include is strategic planning, use a thesaurus to find alternative words. Using bold and italics to emphasize key words or skills. Be careful not to overuse this technique though. If there are too many things in bold or italics, the emphasis is lost. Use a larger point font for the headings and subheadings. This can help direct attention to certain areas of your resume and also demonstrate a strong level of organization. Using a conservative font like Times New Roman, Arial. If the font is too difficult to read, your resume may not get past the first look. Including adequate white space. This can be done around your headings, blocks of text, and within the margins. Hiring managers can use this area to take notes before, during, and after an interview. But don't use too much white space, then your resume will look incomplete. Spell check, spell check, spell check. Almost every recruiter and hiring manager has a story about the resume they threw out because of misspelled words. Typos and misspelled words show that you are not detail oriented or conscientious about your work. Resume don'ts. Don't submit your resume for a position for which you are not qualified. Don't lie. Whether intentional or not, including false, inaccurate, or misleading information brings your ethics into question and can be illegal. Keep in mind that hiring managers are much more likely today to Google and also check social networks to eliminate dishonest candidates. Don't use more than 2 fonts. More than 2 fonts can make a document difficult to read. The reader's eye needs familiar and easy to read fonts, again, like Arial or Times New Roman. Don't ever use clip art on your resume. Do not include any pictures, unless it is required for the position, but most of the time it is not. Do not include any personal or health-related information. This includes your birth date, height, weight, health or marital status, religion, or affiliations. While it may be appropriate in other cultures and for certain jobs, personal information other than your address and phone number and email should generally not be included if you are submitting the resume for a job in the United States. Do not include salary information unless you are specifically asked to include it. And again, do not misspell anything. Thank you for watching the presentation. In later presentations, we will dig deeper into the 5 elements that we have discussed here.